You need to be on top of your game all the time. And so you go, the VO is going up. And I hope he's listening. I can remember one of my executives telling me that I wasn't good enough, and then told me I wasn't good enough to apply for a particular job. So thank you. I'm going to look down the camera. Thank you for telling me that, because that just made me work all the harder. I think you need to chill. Make them nice.
Welcome back to Abed Podcast. This is episode 5. If you guys have been enjoying the content so far, don't forget to leave your comments below in the comment section.
Make them nice.
You heard her. Hit the like button and share it with anyone really who's looking for a push to break the cycle of failure. We got something special lining up for episode 10. It's undergoing for planning. There is a lot of technical issues. I have to solve it, but I'll keep you guys posted in the comment tab and also on my socials. In this Abed Podcast episode 5, our guest today, she is the CEO of the Summit of Excellence, the newest edition of the Dubai Excellence Award platform. Let's call it that way. We will explore with her how the pursuit of excellence, both in business and life, is not just about being the best, but it's about continually improving, pushing boundaries, and for fostering the mindset of a consistent growth. And this is a key point here. We will shed the light on how organization and individual can benefit from striving for recognition, and why excellence is a lifelong journey to shape your mental health, work-life balance, which is, I have my own comments on that, and overall satisfaction. Jennifer, welcome to Abed Podcast.
Thank you.
For the people who doesn't know you, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, I'm Jennifer McShane-Bary. I'm originally from Australia. I have 5 children, 4 are grown. 1 is living with me here in Dubai. And I run a company called JMB Project Management, which is the host for the Middle East Summit of Excellence for 2024.
How did you manage being a mother of 5 and running all this?
It wasn't easy, a lot of juggling.
If you have wondered, what separates those people from simply achieving those goals and who really look for truly excellence? This is a good example. And this is, give me the first question for you. Mm-hmm. What excellence means for you?
So excellence comes in many forms. Mm-hmm. So excellence is being the best at something.
Okay.
But excellence is also an internal thing where you strive to always be better.
This is just a dictionary kind of excellence meaning, but how we can put it on the context of the Summit of Excellence that you are advocating for.
So for the Summit of Excellence, it's about recognising the best people in their fields. Mm-hmm. It's about rewarding those who are the best in their field, but also bringing those people together. So we have, with the Summit, I call it the Summit family. So because it's very niche, it's only small. I mean, there's 250 people attending, and I've deliberately kept it small because I wanted to keep it intimate, and I wanted to make sure that everyone had an opportunity mm-hmm. to meet each other and to spend time with each other and to get the value from it.
This is a topic that I have discussed it in the previous episode. Why it's the summit, why excellence itself has an added value, not only on the process itself, but when you put yourself with a group of people who pursue excellence, automatically you elevate kind of a level of discussion.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you mentioned it, the intimacy between them, because once you are in a small gathering and everybody on the same vibe, call it the same vibe, call it the same energy, call it the same set of standard, I like to call it, then definitely that is the best way to create a harmony, fruitful harmony.
Yeah, and I think it's about surrounding yourself, and one thing that I've always done in my life is surround myself with people who are better than I am, because it gives you something to build for, and you learn from those people, and I want the same thing happening from the summit so people can learn from each other.
This is lead me to this to another angle of this question is why it's important for people to individual and organization pursuing excellence itself, because people sometimes they will misinterpreting between standards like the ISOs, which is people just pursue it for the sake of having certificate standard. I've been in this field in the construction, so
Yep.
so why do you think it's important to apply excellence as an individual and as an organization?
And also as an organisation. So as an individual, it helps you grow. It helps you need to have a purpose. And that's a fundamental thing that everybody needs to have, is a purpose. Once you have that purpose, you can then build towards being better. And I think it's something that is specific to the Middle East, and it's led by His Highness Sheikh Maktoum, that number one. He always talks about being number one.
That's correct.
And I try and align with that. So everything I do, I aim to be number one. And I want people involved in the summit to also be number one, and I'm recognising them for being number one in their field. It's the same with companies. Companies need to encourage their teams. And I think one thing about my company where my point of difference is that I spend time and money, and most importantly, I invest in my teams. My teams are the most important thing. Customers are secondary. Now, I don't say that as being something awful. Studies have shown that if you look after your people will look after your customers. And my people do that. They're happy to come into work every day. They're happy to strive for excellence. So companies should do the same. If they want to become excellent companies, they should focus on their people. And it's not just about HR and having, days away and all this sort of stuff. It's about every day focusing on making your team's existence with your organisation a positive one.
I have this conversation many, many times with especially when we are on training courses and something like that. And people always say motivation employees, and always it directed towards the financial part of it. And I was highlighting, saying there is a multiple options of motivating people. One of them creating the environment. However, environment in some companies are ripped off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that, but this is the fact, because you can advocate that my company has an environment, but when you really look deep down at, there is nothing.
No, it's about culture. And I think there's, again, the Middle East is leading the way because we have the happiness. We have the happiness strategy, and His Highness is pushing that happiness strategy as well, and certainly through women's empowerment. And it's worth mentioning that we have a sponsor for the Middle East Summit of Excellence that trains in happiness.
Amazing.
They have happiness certification. They're called I Have the Power. So
That's
they
amazing.
are fantastic, and they really push happiness and how important it is in the workplace, but also in your personal life.
I have guests as a trainee from other Gulf states, and I was mentioning how going beyond expectation can set you up apart from other people. For example, I mentioned about the government service center, and they call it happiness
Center. Yeah.
That triggers in the mind that you are, as an employee serving on that, your job is to bring happiness to anyone visiting the department or the service center.
And I have to say, they do a fantastic job. They do an excellent job in comparison to Australia, where they have customer service centres, where when you get your licence, it takes 2 hours and you have to sit down and you have to wait in a queue. It took me 5 minutes to swap my licence over. That makes me happy.
Absolutely.
Because it gives me time back. And part of being happy is having the time back in your life.
I was driving 2 nights ago. I was driving on the road, and the people who was with me in the car, like, amazed how
when they finish screaming after you're driving, right?
they were amazed how is the infrastructure of roads. I don't know if you drove in Expo Road before.
Yes.
Yeah. So I said all the major highways is now consisted of 6 to 7 lanes.
Yeah.
Making driving is just an experience.
It is apart from the traffic at
Traffic,
times.
yeah.
But most of the time, the quality of the roads
Yeah.
is fantastic. It is world class.
That's why the pursuing of being number one is really, it shows in every inch of the city.
Yes,
And-
everything that they do, everything that a government does is number one.
Which is one more thing about being the excellence in everything.
Yes.
Tell us about organizing this summit. I know it's a lot of moving parts.
It is.
So
It's a lot of
let
moving
us
parts.
know let us know what kind behind the scene, how it is, without diving into much details, if you wish. But what is the origin of the summit? Where it came from? Did you have a previous experience on being awarded before?
Yes, I've received previous awards.
And why you created it in Dubai, not in Australia?
So yes, I've received previous awards. The summit came about as a summer project for me.
Okay.
So, as you know, in Dubai, most people leave in summer. So,
Sure.
so the work starts to dry up. And for me, I always like to be busy. And if I'm not working 14 hours a day, I'm bored. So
Oh, Lord.
I'm now working 16, so I'm not bored anymore, and regretting the decision somewhat. But anyway, it's going to be great. So it started out as it's summer, things are quiet. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I have a background in events. I used to be the CIO for the O2 in London. So I've had a very strong events background. And I thought that something that would be really good for Dubai is an awards and a summit and an event that was world class. So when I say world class, the trophies that have been provided are stunning. So I wanted to make...
For the record, guys, she refused to give us a sneak peek about the trophy, just for the record.
You'll get one after this. So the trophy has been especially designed for the summit. There is no trophy like it.
Okay.
And it was very important to me that awardees who attended saw excellence in how the event is being delivered. So we're not just the Middle East Summit of Excellence. We're actually living excellence. Excellence in the venue, excellence in the trophy, excellence in the running, excellence in the staging, excellence in the AV. Everything that we do is going to be top-notch, including the trophy. And the trophy is absolutely stunning. So I'll show you after the...
All right. I'll take a snapshot.
No, you won't. It's under wraps.
If you're going to change excellence to another word, can you do?
Would I change it to another award? No.
No.
No, it has to be number one. And I want people to strive to be number one. And I want to recognise people for being the best in their field. So excellence is the ideal word for it.
Okay. Because when I did the research of what kind of names of the rewards, usually it has a generic names. It can relate to a certain emirates. It can to, of course, there was a excellence award with His Highness the ruler of UAE, which is a very strong award. But yeah, it makes sense because it's excellence is just excellence. There is no other word for it.
No.
Why in Dubai?
Because I live here, because it's a great city, and because I wanted to encourage people to also come here. So we've got people who are attending who are sponsors but also award winners from the UK, the US.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just limited to Dubai.
No, it's not just the nominations were global, and the intent was to bring people to see what a great city it is.
It is a great city, by all means. This is a side question.
Going off piece.
Exactly. We're going off topic. But do you see it in the future within the next 5 years or 4 years that it's going to be organized somewhere else, not Dubai?
Possibly, yes. I have a few things under wraps at the moment.
Right.
Again, it's a bit like the trophy, you know, it's sort of like everything's under wraps.
Cooking, okay.
But yes, there will be others globally.
Okay.
It will be announced at the summit, so I can't
Very
say anything
interesting.
now.
Leads me to the obvious question. What is the difference between this summit and other excellence award programs, which is available in UAE and Dubai?
The difference is we rock.
You can do more than that. What is really
Look, the point of difference is, and as I've explained earlier, it's about excellence.
because
So,
sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah,
most of the
that's okay. Don't do it again.
most of the programs usually they have candidates, they have categories, and they have panel who I don't know what you call it,
Judging panel.
judging
Yeah.
panel.
Yep.
So this is the main pillars of any award.
Yeah.
But there is an essence that make it different. Like for example, the governments here, they have the starring system when it comes to award, or there is some kind of incentives for the nominee or which is the winners of this award. What is the excellence summit of excellence? Differentiate.
Okay, so we're differentiated because we actually live and breathe excellence.
Okay.
And that is different to a lot of the award ceremonies that are currently in place. We talk about excellence and we actually deliver excellence in everything we do. Every single detail of this will be delivering to excellence to be the best that it possibly can. And I think for anyone involved in the summit, they will also find their experience will be excellence. And I think I have spent a lot of time in putting together what packages that particularly award nominees will receive. And it's about increasing their visibility in the market. It's about recognising what they do and telling people far and wide that they are the best of the best and the best at what they do. Look, that is absolutely the essence of what we do. So there are, like you said, there are plenty of award ceremonies and, congratulations and good luck to those. I'm not trying to compete. My
niche, let's say.
Well, it is niche, but
it
is also we stand alone because of the excellence and because we're going to be an event where people will want to come back to. They will be talking about it for a while, even though it's only small.
So it's going to be occurring summit, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so.
That's very good. One of the things that I really value and believe when it comes to business, when you deliver an added value product, it's going to stand out.
Absolutely.
Even there is multiple. I wouldn't say competitors, but other people they're delivering the same service. But once you come up with a different value, then it's going to differentiate you from the other. Best of luck with the organization of this
Thank
kind
you.
of event. I know it's going to take a lot of efforts. Let's shift gears. Now, we talked from organization part of view, organization part of getting this summit up running, and what kind of challenges. Maybe we'll come back to that. But what's the common challenges to organization and individuals face when they try to get involved in such an award? I'll give you backstory.
Okay.
The first time I have gone through an ISO auditing, most of our colleague was like puffing and muffing all day long. Extra work, extra this, extra that. So it is the work behind it. Correct me if I'm wrong, because if you're gonna be part of such an event like that, you need to get your homework done, your paper done, present your case, put evidence for the case, and basically defend it, why it's different. So what's the common challenges that you have seen it from the actual nominee or in general when it comes to such an event like that?
With nominations or sponsorship, my intent was to make it as simple as I possibly could.
Okay.
So that there wouldn't be those challenges, because I know that often you have to fill out long, laborious forms, and it just because time is important.
Yes.
So I respect people's time. So the forms that I placed on the website were very clear, very concise, and it takes less than 5 minutes to fill. You did it. How did it go for you?
It was really
Let me have
straightforward.
some feedback.
No, it was straightforward. Honestly,
Yeah.
it was. Yes, guys, I applied for that, so I'm guilty as charged.
And an awardee as well.
Thank you. So, as a process itself, for me as a user or a nominee, it was pretty straightforward, which is I liked it. That's why it didn't give me the headache to apply, because if I'm looking to be really value my time, the process should be as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
And this is the I think UAE and Dubai they introduced the I don't remember exactly the program, but it's a new award called reducing the routine steps in the government section.
Yes.
I'll get that. I'll get that.
Yeah.
But it's the aim is really to reduce the bureaucracy and the multiple. You're in consultancy. How many times you have done process re-engineering to cover the loops?
Multiple
of times.
But what happens is, and what tends to happen with process engineering is that not a lot of thought goes into the actual customer side of it. So what's important is when you do process re-engineering, that you look at it from a customer perspective. I've spent a lot of years in customer service, and my last role in the Middle East was with NEOM. I was the Director of Service Delivery and Operations. So customer service was front and centre for me, and always I tried to improve customer experience.
For this reason, you have simplified the application form
Absolutely.
and make it so. With this least information that you guys gathering for the nominees, does it load more efforts from the panel to go through it, or make it easier for them?
It makes it easier for them as well, because all the information that is requested is consistent from each nomination. So the nomination form comes in and I create a PDF of it, I attach everything for the judges, and it comes in a pack. The information is consistent for each individual person, so it's easy to judge like for like, right?
Very true, very true. Once you put the system, then it's easier for you to go through it, because it's the same sequence. You follow the same. I like that. If you'd like to share with us what is the steps, go for it, please.
So unfortunately, nominations are now closed. So sorry, guys. They're closed. We've got 30 nominations.
Beautiful.
And I expected that they would probably close mid-October, but I have been knocked over in the rush.
Wow, we are mid of September.
Yes. So
when is the event? Sorry.
The event is the 1st of November.
1st of November.
Friday, the 1st of November at
Awesome.
Al Habtoor Palace. It's going to be great.
Awesome.
Yep, so nominations are closed. Okay. So I have another week of judging to go. Okay. So I got a last-minute rush yesterday because I advertised on Instagram and LinkedIn that nominations were closing. Okay. I've been telling everyone that they've been closing, and yesterday I said they're closing today. I got a rush of nominations, and then today closed. Halas.
Wishing you all the best with delivering this product. When are you gonna open the nomination for the next year? That's a good question.
Let me see how this year goes first. So the event is in November. I would probably open it in March.
All right,
to give people plenty of time, and to give me plenty of time as well. So,
of course, after the event concluded, you're gonna do a lot of back to the sketchboard, isn't it? More or less.
Yeah, 2 weeks after is going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to having a holiday at the end of November. I'm going to need it, I think.
Holiday sometimes is going to be necessary for after a magnitude event like this. I mean, that's good. Excellence sometimes it has a side effect on people. Here's an example for us.
Burnout.
Burnout. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
You have seen firsthand how excellence positively transfer people, and how can affect on the other side. Share with us some stories about that.
So burnout is a real thing, and when you are constantly striving, you have to be very, very careful of not overworking, and I'm very guilty of this.
Okay.
So I will work and work and work and then collapse in a heap. So you need to make sure that you pace yourself. You need to make sure, and this is the most important thing that I've had to learn, you have to make time for yourself. If you don't make time for yourself, you won't have the energy to take care of other people.
Yeah.
And when you're working in a role such as mine and you do have other people surrounding you, you need to be on top of your game all the time. So I don't feel guilty at all about having this is an Australian saying, it's called a doona day. So a doona day is when you just stay in bed, you cover your face with your doona and you don't move, right? So
Okay.
that is, it's something that everyone should take up. Some people call it a rest day or a mental health day. Australia, we call it a doona day, where you just turn off your phone and everyone just go away. And you take time for yourself, have a massage, you sleep, you do whatever. And it's a really important thing to do. So particularly for mothers as well,
Yeah.
and working mothers, you must take time for you.
Yeah.
And again, guilty, always put other people first, you always put yourself last. You need to swap that around. By putting yourself first, everyone else around you benefits. So everyone should make time for themselves. And even if it's just 2 hours to go and get a massage, get your nails done, go for a walk, get away from a screen. Leave your phone at home, no screens.
Absolutely.
Have a complete and utter rest from screens and everything else. And take the time out, because when you do that, you recharge and then you've got more energy for others around you.
Yesterday, I was in a discussion about the same topic, and why I was saying life-work balance, that this title, sometimes it's, I have my own...
It's a misnomer. There's no such thing.
There's no such a thing.
Right?
Because,
So,
I explained to the person with me, and they said, this is the negative part. We'll come to the positive side of pursuing the excellence or the transformation of excellence. So I was saying, once you put it as a title, as a balance, in the back of your head, if you overdo one of the other, you will feel guilty. I have heard people saying, oh, I cannot go to the gym because I need to work. And then when he isn't continue working, the guilt in his head
yeah.
saying, oh, you should go at least for 1 hour. That's why for me, I don't call it life-work balance, because
It's life balance.
I would take balance out of the equation. I'll tell you why. Because if you are here today in the studio, I am fully aware about this experience of recording this, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. I switch off my brain about anything else.
We can fix that. I can make it a little bit harder for you.
No. That's unbreakable, which is very good. So, and this is exactly what's happening. I'm moving from task to a task. What do you call it? Immersive experience? Just going through that itself without any back thoughts of, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. I tried it for many years now, and it's paying off. Because everything I do is just for the same moment. What comes next, it's meant to be next. I've done this, then I need to do my paperwork, then I do, for example, X, Y, Z. Each block, it's a blockchain. Each block of this chain, it takes its own time. It doesn't overlap. It can overlap, fine, but mentally, no.
I think you need to...
It's good.
To chill.
I'm chilling.
Shui. And just go with the flow.
I'm okay with it. I enjoy every part of it. Trust me.
That's my only Arabic too, by the way.
You need to practice more.
My daughter tells me all the time, "Shui ma."
Shui.
Shui.
Okay. Shui means slowly.
Yeah.
All right. That's a negative side, but the actual transforming to seeking excellence. What kind of positive impact comes to you as a person and as an organization?
It's definitely the sense of accomplishment and achievement, that you've set yourself a goal and you get there.
Unpack this, please, for the people who's listening. It's this kind of a sentence, people can read it in books. You are here because you felt it, you lived it, you've gone through it. So breaking it for the people, they will understand what is the 4D experience, is the emotion, how you handle it, and how you really tackle it. That's why I'm asking you to unpack it. So there you go. Unpack it for us, please.
Okay, sure. So again, a sense of accomplishment. So by setting yourself goals, and everyone sets themselves goals. And when you reach those goals, and it's not necessarily about the goal either. So for me, I prefer and I use a vision board, and I have things on the vision board that are
Very
just
good.
so far out that you wouldn't even believe that they happen, but they
Yeah.
do. It's amazing. So by having that sense of purpose and sense of where you're going, when you get there, emotionally, it reinforces that positive thought. It also makes you feel really good, and it gives you a buzz, and then you want to do it
Absolutely.
again. So it's self-fulfilling, the prophecy that you continue on by reinforcing that positive intent that you have and achieving that.
Yeah.
And I never get tired of it. It's great. And then you have those moments, but you do have those moments where you sit there and go, oh, I
There
haven't.
we go again.
Yeah, I haven't quite achieved what I wanted to do. So you just refocus and get on.
Why I'm asking that, we have discussed that the purpose of this podcast is breaking the cycle of failure, and one of them being stuck, and one element which is the transition between an employee to an owner of a business or employer, let's put it that way. Setting goals and achieving it is the bright side.
Yeah, but failure is also an opportunity to learn. I don't see failure as necessarily a negative thing. You have to fail to learn what to do differently. Okay. So, and this is, the summit is a classic example of that, because in April, I'm sitting there going, okay, so
When did you start planning actually for it? Let's take one step back.
June. In
Okay.
six weeks, I had it completely done.
But the concept itself was
Concept, 6 weeks.
from
the website, the concept, all the
no. I'm not saying the actual event, but
No,
the
no.
concept of the award itself.
The concept of the award was one day. Within 3 days, I had everything done.
I didn't expect that.
So
So what was in April in this case?
So April, I started to see things slowing down. I'm thinking, okay, well, what I'm doing at the moment is not working entirely. So how do I fix that? I'm not going to achieve what I want to achieve by doing the same things. So I
Okay.
needed to change it. So by failing, I'm learning that I need to do things another way, and I don't
Because-
see failure as negative.
Honestly, I've seen from the I don't know what to call it, the youngsters, or I would call it this generation. They don't have vision. Forget about motivation. They don't have vision. They're just living by seeking a secure job. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
Securing a certain job that it will get income. Because I see this from the examples that they come for the training. I have my own thing to trigger this kind of questions, just to profile them.
Yeah.
And based on that, we can manage the actual training session. So I wouldn't say 99%.
But it's not necessarily just youth. It's across the board. And I think, particularly young kids these days, they live in a very different world. They live in a virtual world.
Unfortunately, yes.
Which is unfortunate. And they need to step up from behind the screen and actually experience things. I can remember when I was growing up, dinosaurs were running around, and we used to, run away from the dinosaurs and stuff, because I'm old. But in my younger years, we would be out when it was light. We would be out and riding our bikes and doing stuff, and we'd get home our curfew was when the street lights came on. Kids these days don't do the same thing. They sit in their screens. They talk to each other on screens. They don't actually interact with each other. So they're missing out on that experience element that helps with vision. I think vision comes from experience. So I think that the expectation on the youth these days is too high. I think they need to find their own path, and they live in a very, very different world. So they will start to unpack once they get these experiences. They'll start to unpack vision. Vision doesn't happen when you're young. Vision comes from experience, but it also comes from the people around you. So with young guys and girls, I always encourage them to surround themselves with like-minded people.
Thank you. I advocate highly for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you are a product of those who are around you. So surround yourself with good people who do want to strive to be better. But understand you're not going to have vision right from the start. It does take experience. However,
All right.
and I will clarify this because I can see you go, the eyebrows going up.
No, because I have been in the same conversation, in the same table, and I answer it in a different way. But go on, let's hear you.
There'll be a test after this.
No.
So yeah, look, vision is something that people use as a word all the time, and it's expectation that people have vision. I prefer to call it a dream. So vision comes from experience. Dreams can happen from when you're 6, 7, 8, 10. I mean, my daughter, for example, has a dream. She wants to be a race car driver. Fantastic. And she is now building steps towards fulfilling that dream. So it's not necessarily vision. I think dream is a great word for the youth. They absolutely have to have a dream. And you should be encouraged to follow that dream, no matter how big it is. Have that dream. Don't lose sight of those dreams because they are what build into vision, experience, and your life journey.
I answered this same question. I answered it this way: the dream, you can have it even when you are in the kindergarten. When they ask you in the day, what do you want to do when you are becoming big? I want to be a firefighter, pilot, astronaut. That's a dream. However, vision for me, and this is what I have seen it, vision can be inherited from your environment. I saw the old generation when they are going for their own businesses, small businesses, but still as a business. Yeah. I'm sure in Australia it's the same thing. You take your kids with you. See how you run the business itself, how you conduct your communication with people, whether they are subcontractors or they are suppliers, or so they are absorbing that, and it's becoming inherited vision.
Osmosis is a good word.
What's that?
Osmosis.
Osmosis?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
It's soaking up.
Soaking up. Okay.
Your environment.
Yeah. So from this point, I said vision can be inherited as well. That's why you mentioned very, very good point. You said youth have to be in a in the circles that can empower them, encourage them to dream.
I mean, and it's a responsibility as parents, but also as the older generation, to instill that in the youth.
Absolutely.
We have to be mentors. We have to empower our youth. And, they learn from us. We need to be role models for them and encourage them to dream and dream big and fail and know that they're going to fail and set the expectation that they're going to fail. So when they do fail, it's not a world-beating and world-changing thing for them, that they get up, dust themselves off and go, well, that didn't work. Let's try something else. We have to instill that attitude that failure is not a negative thing. It's a positive thing, and it's how you learn.
Competition is the same thing. That's why when you say something like that, this leads me to the second question, is when do you think this kind of people, youth is something, but let's say established organization, even between the employees, when you encourage the excellence, some weak-minded, sorry to use that terminology, but I call it weak-minded, they will think that's in a competition, and immediately they will shield themselves away because of lack of confidence. This is something else, but I don't want to be competing for this. It's not a competition. This is the thing. You know what I mean? This is the misunderstanding.
But that's okay. As an organisation and as a leader of an organisation, you need to understand your people. And not everyone is going to strive for greatness. Not everyone is going to strive to be excellent. People will find their own level. And while there's no benefit, some people just are happy where they are. And as a leader, you need to recognise that and let them do that. Not everyone has to be great.
The first team I managed it was back on 2007. Yep. I really burned myself trying to push everyone, because I literally sat with with each one of them, and I was like trying to understand why you don't have the desire to dream.
Because some people just don't.
That boggled me at that time. Honestly, it was even, I was going out, I said, okay, once we finished the meeting, every time I was like banging my head towards the wall. I was like, how on earth such a person like this refused to dream, refused to coming the best of himself.
Yep.
But now, it's after this 15 years, you can't save everyone.
It's not about saving, it's acceptance. There's a difference.
Yes and no. Because then, if you are a striving organization seeking excellence, you will be a magnet and also a magnet. You're going to push people away from you because they will say, oh, their standard is high.
Yeah,
At the
standards
same
are
time-
high.
Yeah, and
But again, I'm gonna bring you back to the fact that you need to understand your team. And having a good team doesn't necessarily mean that everyone is a high achiever. So while as a team you might strive for excellence, having a team of people, say for example, I'll give you a great example. If you
Go on.
have 5 people who all want to be excellent at what they do, they're gonna butt heads with each other.
absolutely.
It's gonna be counterproductive to what you're trying to do because excellence is your end product. If you have 5 people, you need to structure the team so they're a puzzle, they fit together, they don't compete towards excellence. And that is one of the secrets of leadership, is understanding your people and putting those people together in a team towards your common goal.
That's an excellence team structure.
Correct.
That's something else. But
Yeah.
again, in such a this is a very competitive market, whatever the discipline that you do. Encouraging people to be excellent in what they do, they want to see what's the incentive. That's the same thing. Organization, when they want to apply for such a competitions like this, or let's say they want to be a nominee, they want to see what's the incentive. What is it in it for us?
So what's in it for them is for teams, what's in it for them is they get to achieve that excellent outcome. They also get the thanks from the customer. They get praise from their customer. They get, and my teams, I tell them every day how amazing that they are.
Okay.
So I constantly encourage them to succeed. I constantly encourage them to feel good about themselves. So there is no losing in that.
If you implement it correctly, then this is good. And this is another derailing question.
Yeah.
You remember the days when they have the gathering team building thing, but it's a very good team building out of the organization somewhere out, and I think it's died as a concept itself.
It's because no one wants to go.
They are not motivated to do it.
But why would you want to?
Because the last time such an event I was there, that was a ceremony of awarding of the best employee.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an actual event that it's exactly designed, this is the way how you designed your summit. It's the same thing. It's a full day out of the company. I think it was somewhere in Hatta. Yeah, it was somewhere in Hatta, on the hotel in Hatta.
Yeah.
And it was a full activity outdoors. We have maybe 6-7 activities and end up by giving the top performer of the company from different teams. And that was a really proper team building event. I don't see it anymore.
No, because a lot of people, I think with team building and those sorts of things and leadership conferences and all that sort of stuff, people have day jobs and they're busy. So to take them out of their day jobs is not usually a popular decision. And I think over the years and when I've been working for other people as well, to take the time out to go to those things, and if they're not valuable, and I think this is the key point.
It's a key point here.
If they are not valuable to the individual, then why would you want to go? So by a way of getting around that is to understand what your employees want to do, and asking them, if you were going to do team building, what would it be? So we do things like jumping out of planes. We do things like paintball, things that are fun, where everyone lines everyone up that they really don't like.
Go-kart.
Go-karting is a big thing. So things that are fun.
Yeah.
I think that's more important than sitting in a conference room all day listening to people prattle on. I can't think of anything worse, and I know that there's people...
Look, I feel tired already just from mentioning it.
Mm-hmm. So if you are going to do team building, make it fun, make it interesting. Don't put people in a room. There's nothing worse. So get people outside, golf, for example, skydiving, karting, anything that is going to give people, a bit of a sense of adventure. And if people don't want to go, accept that. They don't have to go. I mean, some people may not want to do karting. Some people may not want to jump out of a plane, although it's pretty amazing and it's good fun.
And this lies on the hand of the organizer. He has
Correct.
to fulfill each taste to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then organization, you will have youngster, you will have mid-age, or you will have older people. They will not, all people, they will not jump or do risky stuff. And some of the people who has families, etc., they need to have their own time with their families.
So it's not one size fits all. When you're building teams, it is individualized. And there may be groups of individuals who want to do the same thing. And if you're going to create that sort of environment, well then, 5 people might want to go and do karting, and five people may just want to go home and spend time with their family. And that's okay.
How are we gonna implement this strategy for people who are facing burnout when they are chasing excellence?
So I've seen some classic examples, and I've had people that have worked for me in previous jobs, not with this company, that have experienced burnout. And I, as a leader, saw that happening.
Yeah.
And there were complaints from co-workers and things like that. So I did something that was not particularly kosher.
Okay.
I actually gave them a month off paid leave and said, you go and sort yourself out.
Have you seen the signs of burnout, or just immediately happen?
No, I saw the signs, and I saw them
what
starting
was some
to
of
happen.
the signs?
Tiredness, falling asleep at the desk, just a difference in personality, not meeting the expectations of co-workers, not meeting deliverables, not meeting deadlines.
They're dreamers?
No, they're not. This individual person was always so driven and so organised. There was such a switch in personality that I knew that there was something wrong. So intervention, sit down, a month off, go and sort yourself out. When you come back, let's have a look. And in that month, and he says to me so often, you saved my life.
Wow, to that level? To
that level. So, and he knows, he will know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to obviously mention any names, but it was a classic case of someone who was burnt out and needed help, and didn't need the usual structured HR, conversation where you're not meeting your deadlines, you're not performing, blah blah blah. No, it needed a human level intervention, which was, I can see you as a person and you're suffering. Let me help you. And my management
sure didn't like that.
They didn't like it. It took a fair bit of convincing. Some of my peers actually were very upset about the fact that I had given them a month's paid leave and, set the expectation that anyone else could do it. Quite frankly, I don't care. So what I did care about was getting that individual back and well and happy.
And performing.
But being well and happy means your performance improves anyway. So,
other weak-minded who see the symptoms of burnout from people who are seeking success, okay, they immediately run away from it and saying, oh, I don't want to be burned out like that. That's a bad example.
They won't ever burn out because they don't try hard enough most of the time. So
they don't. But again, they will publicize that success. Look, what success have gained the XYZ person? Being burned out, being overstressed. I don't want that life. And this is the point where the correlation between excellence and not accepting the excellence standard. And this is transmit to how are you going to serve your customer? You know what I mean? Especially with organization or companies who are facing clients, or they are a client base services. You know what I mean? Like face to face is not a product that you sell it, etc., etc. But it's an actual service for that. We try to train people how to bring quality in every endeavor in their life, especially when they are on the work time. And one of them is like try to serve, especially when you are facing clients, try to serve your client with the best way possible to save his time, solve his issue, whatever it is done, and do it the most efficient way. And then it says, oh, it means I'm going to take more clients. No, I'll do less here. You smile, but this is fact.
Yeah.
That's why it's the mindset. Again, you said something that not everyone can be an excellence chaser or motivated to seek excellence. So I have a counterattack for that. I said, don't you want to bring the brand for yourself?
Some people don't. And that's
Unfortunately,
okay.
no.
And that's okay.
Why it's okay?
You just need to accept that some people are not happy setting themselves high goals. They're happy in their own skin, and that's okay.
So they will fit in a different part of the equation, means?
They fit in a different part of the team. Again, I bring you back to the puzzle. It's about bringing people together who have different skill sets, who have different mindsets.
Agree.
To deliver. So you don't have to have a team of high performers, of 10 high performers, because it doesn't necessarily work. It's about understanding those people in your team and putting high performers and people who are happy in their own skin, because they're going to go and do the jobs that the high performers don't want to do or don't have the time to do. These guys generally have, they're more attention to detail, they're more focused, they're more settled. They're happy in their own skin, so they complement each other.
I saw this example many times. Some of them, they are just excellent in doing certain tasks. However, if you bring them out of their skin, immediately they fail.
Correct.
And this is tells me sometimes, as a question, does seeking excellence increases your resilience?
No.
No?
No.
All right.
I don't think it does.
No short answer here. Please unpack this one.
Seeking excellence doesn't necessarily improve your resilience. What improves resilience is failure, is hurt, is life experience. It's not a result of striving for excellence. That is just one part of it. It's not part of the bigger picture. Resilience happens through experience, through things not going right.
Yeah.
It comes through learning.
However, seeking excellence is mean I'm going to take the path to go out of my way, learning something new, learning some new skills, because learning this new skill or this new activity will lead me to excellence.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily build resilience unless you fail or unless something goes wrong, unless you suffer pressure. I mean, on the path to that excellence, then if you have failure, if you have people who, things just don't go right. But again, it doesn't necessarily build resilience.
What builds resilience in this case? If it's not seeking excellence, because if you're going to seek excellence, for example, you in the back of your head, you're convinced that this is going to be a rough ride. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be failures.
Not necessarily. I don't agree with that. So
explain your point of view.
So I can only talk from life experience, and
right,
for
let's
me,
hear it.
I think resilience. I am highly resilient, and I'm highly resilient because I've had experiences in my life that haven't worked out as I thought that they would. And it's not necessarily from striving for excellence. It's just the day-to-days of living. It's a personal thing about, children, being married, having relationships, things not going to plan.
Yeah.
I think that resilience is built when you have an expectation and it doesn't happen. And resilience comes from how you deal with that.
Do you think in this case resilience can serve as a good quality for anyone seeking excellence?
I think yes. I think you have to have a certain degree of resilience to be able to get to that point of excellence, yes. Yeah, that's true. And you have to have the intestinal fortitude to be able to cope with things when they don't necessarily happen as you want them to.
Yeah, which is very critical way of handling stuff. I have seen so many people, unfortunately, they crash when their dream fall apart. I closed 2 companies. My first company, I opened it. I was like, my emotions, unfortunately, and this is what I learned, was emotions and seeking to achieve something out of the box was so high. I was so driven towards that, and when it crashed, or it was, of course, I'm part of the reason why it's fall apart. But I didn't take it negatively. I take it in a positive. Of course, I took it with a punch of salt. But in the end of the day, I took back, and they say, what did I do wrong?
It's not necessarily what you did wrong.
I did something wrong at that time, which is I'm open for that. But again, there was certain stuff didn't go the way I was to do it. It was it's many things together. However, when I saw it going busted, I said, okay, it's time to learn, do it again.
Sometimes resilience is about the fact that you accept that it just wasn't meant to be.
Agree.
So you
There's
bounce
one of
back
them.
and you do it again.
Yeah, that's why I said. That's why I said. I accepted and I said, I'm going to do it again.
And part of that acceptance is accepting it for yourself, that maybe, you didn't do the best job, or you didn't, but whatever, it didn't happen. And it didn't happen for a reason. So
Yeah.
build a bridge, get over it, move on.
This is exactly what I did. I did kind of accountability session with myself, and I say, what did I do wrong? What kind of skill set I was missing? What was the mindset that I was missing? What was the circle or the cycle of connection and network around me was missing on it? And
But maybe there wasn't anything missing. Maybe there wouldn't have been anything that you could have done differently.
At that scenario, yes,
and
it
that
was.
is self-acceptance and accepting the fact that perhaps, it just wasn't part of the plan.
I'm a big believer on that. Okay, that's part of my faith. That sometimes if you do everything and goes off, it means it was not meant for you.
Yeah, and part of the human condition is naturally when things don't go right, you blame yourself. But you have to learn to forgive yourself, and you have to learn to accept that perhaps...
Acceptance. But again, acceptance that is not meant for you, it's the escape route. People, they will cut corners and try to escape that. However, missing the accountability part. So do the accountability part and then say, okay, it's not meant for me. But it teaches the brain that evolve and do it again.
Yep.
You fail, you do it again.
Yep. Gee, that hurt. Yep, I'll just do that again.
Exactly. Riding the bike for the first
But
time.
perhaps I'll do it a little bit differently this time, or I'll tweak it, or
Thank you.
I'd look at different ways of doing things.
This is exactly what leads me to the point that resilience also, it's not just resilience, it's a skill can be learned.
Maybe resilience is just that you're so stupid that you're prepared to go and do it again.
Put a title for that.
You didn't learn the lesson last time, so...
Let's do it again. Because you're gonna do it, you're gonna learn it again, but you're gonna do it again after you learn something new. Maybe you have talked about it with somebody else, and they said you should do this, you should do that, do that. So, of course, you're gonna do it again with a choice, with a different experience, with a different skill set.
Yeah, with a different set of eyes as well.
And the second company I opened it was 6 years after that. So I did it again, but after 6 years. So this 6 years was a learn for me.
Yeah.
Every initiative or every project, it seeks to have an added value to where this project is going to be implemented. The Summit of Excellence is another project, which is you choose Dubai for this round. Could be go global for the next round, which is wish you all the best on it.
Thank you.
However, what exactly gives to the UAE?
What does it give to the UAE?
Yes.
It brings a group of people into the UAE who ordinarily probably wouldn't visit here,
Okay.
firstly. So it brings tourism and tourism dollars as a result.
Okay.
It also brings a recognition and by the amount of press releases and the amount of promotion that has been done on this, it promotes the UAE as a place of excellence. So from a government standpoint as well, it again, we talk about that happiness and sustainability and things like that, the government programs for that. It supports that. It supports that strategy. So therefore brings and highlights the region for that as well. So, and not only that, there's an individual benefit for everyone that attends, that they get to meet other people, they get to meet people in other fields, they get to network with people that they necessarily wouldn't meet, and they get to see Dubai.
I look back on time, 15, 20 years ago, US was a dreamland for people who are like seeking to have successful life in every endeavor on their life. I call it the three element, personal life, entrepreneur, career life, you put it that way, and the travel hub, which is UAE and Dubai became the dreamland for many people. And I believe every event or every exhibition comes here, it sheds the light more and more why this is a magnet for everyone to come here, see the infrastructure, see how it is, the policies around have been put in a way to ease your process from you starting, from moving in to the country, and it gets you up running, maybe it's the second day. And
exactly. The whole strategy here is around encouraging people to come and live here. But probably the thing that I enjoy most about Dubai is the safety. That as a woman and with my daughter, we can walk the street any time of the day and night and we are safe. You can leave your car unlocked, you can leave your house unlocked, nobody will touch anything. And that is this region's crown jewel.
Absolutely.
That nobody else, no other country in the world can do the same thing. Australia, you can't leave your house open, your car gets stolen, you can't leave your handbag on a table and walk away because it'll get stolen. So that is the crown jewel for the Middle East, and the main reason that I'm living here. The secondary reasons are the culture. It's a great place to live, and there's also the opportunities here as well, because there's such a large expatriate society as well, with locals, and they are so welcoming and happy to support. And we have a government here that works for the people.
Absolutely.
Not the other way around. And that is evident in the strategies and what they have. So it's just, it's a great place to be.
They created harmony in
Correct.
every level of living, everything, accessibility for services, making it easier to get up running for you if you are coming to as an investor, if you're coming to run your own business. Even when it comes to a family, which is a big driver here, they make it even easier is the accessibility of housing, schools, public transportation, and so on and so forth, which is the main objective for people sometimes to move here, which is it's a great country here, and maybe my opinion will be biased, but
it's okay to be biased.
After living here for 22 years, it's something that I need to give credit when credit due.
Yes.
If you are today in this seat and somebody's listening to you and looking to give him a blueprint, let me give you the profile. I start seeing the idea. I start seeing the processing. So let me give you the profile. He is looking to be an excellent. Let's take him as an excellent as a team member.
Yeah.
He's looking to be an excellent team member for himself, for the organization. What could be the blueprint for someone who is excited to experience the Excellence Program Award? What kind of blueprint he needs to go and follow?
Let me answer that one for you. There is no one size fits all, and there is no blueprint, because at our fundamental, we are human beings, and every human being is different. So I would, if you ask me for advice, I would say it is very individual. There is not one size fits all. There is no blueprint. Everybody is different.
Okay.
So if someone came to me and said, give me a blueprint, I would then sit down and ask them a lot of questions about their life, their dreams, their wishes, and create something individual.
Okay.
It's not something you can just say, hey, here's 3 steps to success, because that's, well,
No,
I'm not going to say the word.
We will censor it anyway. But yes, I'm not saying that this is the 3 steps. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the 3 steps, but however, it's the best practices. Again, the profile of the person is looking to be an excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of improvement he needs to do?
Dream big. Number 1, dream big. 2, dream big. 3, dream big.
What's next?
Dream big. Then unpack that dream. Start with the end in mind. This is your dream. Start unpacking the ways that you get there.
Okay.
Create baby steps so that you can achieve it.
Okay.
No big dream happens just like that.
Agree.
Big dreams happen when you break it down into sizable, deliverable chunks.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same methodology with project management. Project management, most people don't do very well because they think about the end. They don't actually start with the end in mind and work backwards. It's the same with life. Start with your dream, work backwards, and get baby steps. Eat the elephant 1 teaspoonful at a time to get to where you need to be. If you're getting along the journey and things are not happening, readjust. So dream big, start with the end in mind. When things are not working, readjust.
This is exactly the blueprint I followed
Yeah.
for this podcast itself. The plan was to launch it in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
When I put my goals back on November 2023, my aim was to launch it in 2025. Why? Because again, that was the dream. I break it down. I need to solve 1, 2, 3, I wouldn't say problems, I would say challenges. However, I didn't stay all year doing nothing. I was trying to solve each part of the puzzle individually. And this is another thing. Break down big tasks to small tasks. This is, again, it's part of the blueprint. Just following what's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Once it's achieved, and some people, they call it the eureka time, it's the moment of truth. And this is exactly what happened. When I solved these equations, and I said, why should I wait for 2025?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. And this is, see, you just spelled out the blueprint for anyone who wants to. And you are saying there is no blueprint. Come on. How can business incorporate the culture of excellence, and why do you think it's important for them as organization? It's a 2-part question.
Yeah, so organisations in achieving excellence, again, same thing, start with the end in mind. Whether it's personal or organisational or teams, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Dream big.
As an
organisation as well. I mean, from my experience, my big dreams were to set up the company here.
Okay.
To turn over 400 million dirhams within the first 5 years.
That's a good dream.
Yeah, it's a great dream. Nowhere near it.
And it's 5 years.
But it's nice to dream.
If you break it down, I think it's doable.
Yeah, it is. With a couple of big projects, it absolutely is doable. However, so those that were 2 of my dreams. The other dream was to meet His Highness Sheikh Maktoum.
Okay.
I want him to sign my book, my story. It's my favourite book.
Okay.
So that's another dream. And that is an individual and a personal goal. But the company goal, turn over 400 million. How do I get there? Again, small chunks. So again, it's no different. Personal, business, it's all the same.
Because sometimes organization, they have the vision and the mission.
Yeah.
However, there is no way you can capture the culture of excellence and culture of improvement. That's why sometimes they call it agile organization and rigid kind of organization.
So having a vision statement is great.
Yes.
Having a mission statement is great. A lot of organisations just use it as pretty pictures and words on a paper. They don't actually sign up to it. So my vision statement is I treat my team fantastically. I look after my team so they will look after my customers. My vision statement is about my team, not about my customers, not about any of that. It's about focusing on my people. So I live that. My strategies revolve around that as well.
Okay.
So for me, a vision statement should be at the centre, and then you have your strategies on the outside of it. So you create strategies that sit around that.
This is from organization point of view. How about from the individual point of view? And in part of that, because let's say a lot of people works with organizations and the organization itself does not adopt excellence, but they have the desire internally to become excellent in whatever they do. And sometimes they will face the hierarchy of the company. I faced that before. So I choose to separate my path from these companies.
Yep. So people leave managers and companies. They don't actually leave jobs.
Interesting. Explain more, please. As a new way to look at it.
Well, it is a new, and it's pretty well known that people leave their managers. They don't leave a job. They don't leave because they hate the job. They leave because they don't like their manager or get along with people around them. So people don't, as a fundamental, and I'm going to take it down to human fundamentals again.
Okay.
People like security. They like safety.
Yeah.
So going to a job, they like the security of being paid every week. But when it comes to a point where their security or their safety or their peace of mind is not at a level that is acceptable, they will leave. Because, and that generally comes about by poor leadership and poor management.
Isn't this leadership supposed to observe the culture of the company? Or they're just there on their seats just for being there?
So I think managers and leaders have a lot to think about. And I guess I can only work on my experience and as a leader. And for example, in NEOM, I had 100 and something plus team, made up of various different disciplines. Not one person left.
Very
the whole
interesting.
time I was there, 2.5 years, nobody left.
I know it's a very hectic project because the
It was an
timeline.
extremely hectic and extremely pressured project.
Yeah.
We were working in customer service, which is one of the toughest areas in IT.
It's a high-profile project, and all eyeballs are on it. So
Yeah.
it's a tremendous amount
Nobody
of.
left. When I left Australia, I had a team of people with me.
Okay.
They followed me here. So what that tells you is leadership and management is vitally important. So anyone who is a leader, start taking care of your people. That is the fundamental, because if you don't, they will leave you. They don't want to leave the job, they're leaving you.
So the organization itself, it couldn't be the problem. It's the hierarchy, the people who's managing. I have my own experiences, honestly, to be with managers, and I've gone through a confrontation and we hit a wall, and exactly what happened when we hit a wall, I put my resignation letter. Yeah. So I know that I faced that. So from that end, I promised myself, if I ever be a manager of an organization of myself, I will definitely take a different path, because in the end of the day, your vision or mission, it has to be fulfilled by team.
Yeah, and the buck stops with your leadership, right? If your leader doesn't have, and this is a great saying, by the way, if your leader doesn't have the testicular fortitude to take on his manager, then you don't want to be working for him or her. So you need to have someone who is fighting in your court.
Yes.
And also someone who will sit down and have the conversation with you, and sometimes a tough conversation where you're actually to blame, not the leader. And the leader will sit down with you and say, and these are the reasons why. It's not just me. And that's the sort of relationship you need to have.
What I noticed it here after 22 years being here, working with corporate and seeing how talent moves around. Honestly, I have seen, especially with the C level, they tend to move with their team.
They always do.
They always do,
Yep.
because they build the harmony. They are synced in the same wave, same frequency. They know what it needs, how it needs to be done, and they just move as a pack.
Yep.
Okay, they have been headhunted by other organization, and always it says that I bring my own team.
And that is a mark of a good leader.
Exactly. And to be honest, I have seen, like with my interaction with them, immediately you can spot a good leader from just someone running the business or running the company or running the actual activity, because you can see it from the interaction of their team and how willingly to go the extra mile. I'm sure
Absolutely.
in the time of your working in NEOM, people went with you extra mile.
Of course they did. And I always told them, I'm only as good as the team around me.
That's a huge moral support push,
Yeah, absolutely.
which goes beyond motivation.
Yeah.
Recognition.
But they knew that no matter what happened, I was there for them. And I went into the bat quite a few times and butted heads with a few people because they were right.
Yeah.
And it was my job to pass it along. So I had no issue with doing that, because I always thought of myself, and they used to call me the project mum. So, because they felt supported, they felt secure, and they felt that they were comfortable to have conversations with me that they wouldn't normally have with anybody else. And, I went into bat for them, and I took care of them, and I looked after them. I respected them, and I think that is the most important element of respect. And I gave them the respect that sometimes I didn't get from my leadership. I can remember, and I hope he's listening, I can remember one of my executives telling me that I wasn't good enough to do a role.
Interesting.
And then gave me an award in the other hand.
Gave you the
Gave
award
me
in
an
the other hand?
award, and then told me I wasn't good enough to apply for a particular job. So thank you. I'm going to look down the camera. Thank you for telling me that, because that just made me work all the harder to prove to you that I'm actually better than you think I am.
Congratulations for that. Takes a lot of courage. I've seen that in the first job that I have done, when I accomplished my first assignment. Is the same face and feedback I got it from my manager at that time. It was not good enough. I was 23 years old.
Yeah, sorry, but that's on the manager, not you.
No, absolutely. And absolutely, I looked him I looked him straight in the eyes, and I said,
Yep.
I will not prove it for you, because I know what I'm built for.
Yep.
However, we will meet again.
Yes.
And fast forward, I left that organization. It was a school for me, because I learned a lot from that. I met him 10 years later, and I looked him in the eyes. I said, look where you are and look where I am.
Yeah. Great deal of satisfaction in that.
That was a home run. But this is the mindset, and this is how I think people always look for, discover what they are capable for. And I always say, putting yourself on the stage, it takes a lot of courage. And sometimes why organizations or people will shy away from being under the spotlight, especially in awards like this, is probably to hide something. They have skeleton in the closet, whether in their processes or something on the actual belief in their organization. So,
Not necessarily. They may not just want to be in the spotlight. Some people are naturally, they naturally don't feel comfortable in the spotlight. Actually, and I can give you a great example, because I know that you don't like short answers. So here's a story.
yeah,
Wind back 12 months ago, I had never spoken publicly. I had never been in an interview. I'd never done podcasts. I was absolutely terrified of actually getting up in front of people. I think that it is a learned skill. It's not something that comes naturally to people. Naturally, for me, I'm happy to be out of the spotlight. But to do the job I do, I need to learn the skill to be in the spotlight, to have conversations like this, to do media interviews, to get up and public speak. So it's something, and it's the goal that I've set for myself and I've achieved.
Congratulations for that.
So, yeah, but I think there are just some people who don't want to, who are happy to be in the background. And I think we need to accept that as well. Again, rolling back to the individual and understanding the individual.
Since I lost that part, because I will be seeing people or seeking to meet with individuals who have great value. After studying them and going through their profile and what they have achieved, I'm not talking about achievement on the corporate level only. It's more than that. It's the full cycle itself, because if you succeeded in elements, automatically you want to succeed on the other element and so on. However, I'm many times I'm faced with the same answer. I don't want to be in the spotlight, which is I accept it without accepting it, but because I try again. So
well, you have to accept it, and that's at the human level. Some people are not naturally meant to do that, and that's okay. Acceptance is a superpower, by the way.
Diverting again from the conversation, Jennifer, what is your superpower?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
You open it for yourself. There you go.
My superpower is authenticity.
Because one of my guests have answered his superpower was empathy. But your superpower is?
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
I'm always authentic. I'm open, I'm honest, authentic. Yes, I have empathy as well, and I think that's part of being authentic as well. So, but my superpower is being authentic. Despite what everything is going on around me, I don't change.
This is exactly what I want to tell you, because sometimes authenticity, and especially in such an environment that it's very competitive and cutting corners is everywhere, especially with the human being. Human being nature, when it comes from a different culture, even from the same culture, from same background, taking advantage of people, it's something became norm, unfortunately.
Yes.
So when you're seeing that you are authentic, people sometimes they will tell you with a smirk like, yeah. And they will try to take advantage.
And they have. My first 6 months in Dubai, I got taken advantage of a lot.
Yeah.
I learnt a very costly lesson.
Unfortunately.
But I learnt the lesson. And because I'm authentic, people know that. And people take advantage because I trust easily. I'm having to learn not to not trust people, but to be more diligent and ask a lot more questions before I give people my trust.
Very smart move. Very smart move. And I see people a lot try to cover that with wearing masks. And unfortunately, you can pick up this. Just like
Absolutely.
that. And it's for me as a personal. If I see XYZ wearing a mask, that means whatever dealing that I'm doing with you now is going to go and end. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Whatever project that or whatever exercise that we are doing together, it's going to go and end. Why? Because I see you. You're having a mask. Authenticity is something else that I really value it big time. I do really value it big time.
I do too, and it's something that, in my early 30s, I was, I've always been a female in IT, which means it's male dominated.
Yes.
And it was easy to be something else. It was easy to try and be masculine and, be, and, it was part of the job sometimes. You've got to be tough and you've got to be this and you've got to be that. And one day I woke up and said, no, stuff this. I'm going to be me. And if people don't like it, I actually don't care.
Yeah.
I will be me. And if people don't like it, it's their problem. It's not mine. And I will attract the same sort of people around me who will accept me for who I am as a result. And I've been authentic ever since. And if people don't like it, it's not my problem. People don't like me, not my problem. They can always go away. So
this is the cycle of belonging. This is what I'm saying. I'm keep telling the people that here, even the listeners, and this is the core principle of this podcast is really to bring the essence of how you can succeed in this life without cutting corners or without really losing the essence of your morals. And one of them, authenticity. Bad apples are available, right?
Yeah.
However, that you need to spot the good apple among the bad ones. And having this more superpower gives you ability really to connect, keep yourself surrounded with like-minded people. And this is what it took me a while to not to learn it, to implement it. Let's put it that way. It took me a while to implement it because it's a vicious environment, especially in the business part of it. It's very people, they will use anything possible to reach their destination, which is good for them, bad for them. It's a situational thing.
It's their choice. Halas, they're not part of my circle. Bye.
Thank you. This is exactly what is it. When I start implementing it, I said, you know what? Halas, it's done. It's a full stop here. I'm moving on. You're welcome to you're welcome to join me forward. However, it's a new standard.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is some advices that I like to keep it with our listeners, because in the end of the day, they need to get something out of here to really implement it in their life. And thank you by sharing, saying that authenticity is one of them. What else?
I don't think I have any other superpowers. Cooking's not one of them.
No. So what is the upcoming plans for the Summit of Excellence? Besides being, it's going to be on the 1st of November. If you give us, and from today we are the 17th of September up to 1st of November, what people can expect to see building up to this event?
Me running around like a headless chook. So chicken, chook is Australian. I wanted to bring a little bit of authentic Australian to the podcast.
Interesting. Barbies. Barbies is one of...
Barbecue, yeah, Barbie.
Barbies, yeah.
We don't throw a shrimp on the Barbie. That's utter bollocks. So what you can expect to see is a lot of media coming out.
Okay.
We have obviously social media, but also within some of the local press as well.
Okay.
So that's coming up. There'll be a lot more activity. There'll be a bit of a vibe starting to happen.
Amazing.
And in behind the scenes, I'll be running around like a headless chook.
We will take from you the socials, and we will share it on the description of this video, so people can go and see it and have a look about it. Nominees. Sorry, it's gone already.
Yeah, but you can also buy tickets.
This is something else.
So yeah.
So where the listeners can visit the website and see what kind of tickets available and understand what's behind the scenes when it comes to the summit.
So my website has a button to purchase tickets.
Okay.
So there are two types of tickets. There is a general ticket, general seating. You get everything apart from an award. You don't get to go up on stage. You get to enjoy the entertainment. You have dinner. Mm-hmm. Those tickets are 750 dirhams. And then there's VIP tickets, which are 1,200 dirhams. Again, covers red carpet. You get to go on the red carpet, the networking, dinner, entertainment, and a show. I'm the entertainment. I'm the comedy relief, apparently.
Sounds an exciting event, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I look forward to be part of that. Jennifer, thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
the time you spent
Thank
with
you
us
for having
and
me.
throwing a wealth of knowledge. And I wish the listeners today, they will go out today and really take some of the insights or life experiences Jennifer shared with us today. I look forward to see your comments, feedbacks on the guest.
Please be kind.
And the topic itself. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.